Okay, so we've got my final lift project just about done here. Give some background, my garage is about 9 foot 7 inches tall, so this was a really tight squeeze. I had the option to go with a traditional side mount, but didn't like the quote, so decided to see if I could get away with doing it myself using my original motor. So anyways, I'll start off with showing you the mount that I made here. Obviously, we went from having this mounted down the center on this door to on this door having it converted to the side. And how we did that was essentially, obviously, unmounting it down there, or unmounting it from the center, moving it down here, and then obviously doing the same down there. This was already somewhat close to the ceiling. You can kind of look at how this one is right here, but at least for this side, that was still going to be too low. And so what I ended up doing after moving this all the way over is I remounted it with essentially just one angle iron hole away from the ceiling. So this is maybe an inch and a half away from this little bracket here. And then obviously bought some wire from Home Depot to fuse and extend the controller wires over this way. So that's how that looks. Let's go ahead and head down to the mounting end. And so what we ended up doing down here, the holes didn't perfectly line up, or the stud locations. And so what I ended up doing is purchasing some angle iron, and these holes weren't really lining up very well, so that's why we kind of have two pieces here for the top and bottom holes. But that's how that looks. Got these solidly screwed into the wood, the 2x6. And I mean, this is solid, this isn't moving at all. And then have the plates screwed into the back here. That's how that looks. And then obviously for the arm, this used to be mounted in the center, so I removed that from the center. Spent about $30 on a 3-inch strut for the top just to solidify it, seeing that it's going to be pulled from the one corner. And that's how we converted this here to a top pull instead of a center pull. Obviously extended this since I did raise this up a bit. But that's how that looks from this angle. Let's head back down. I guess while I'm up here, I'll show you the top angle here. As far as the clearance, we probably have, I'd probably say about 6 inches, 6-7 inches of additional clearance from the top of the GTR to the ceiling. And then the other adjustment that I had to do was on these rails over here. And I did this on both sides. These used to be right here. This used to sit right here. And so I raised this up, I'd say 1, 2, 3 holes. So it's kind of sitting up at an angle, but that kept me from having to undo the springs and raise the entire door. So I was able to just kind of put this up at an angle. And I obviously duplicated this on the other side as well. So after doing that, I think I already mentioned this, moved that over, spliced in the wires, plugged them into the controller, and then I reprogrammed the door to have new setting positions. And then the last thing that I did, so I don't have the most adjustable of stopping locations. So I want to say I had 52.5 inches, but at 52.5 inches, it just wasn't giving me the room that I wanted. And so what I ended up doing was I first started off with a 3/4 inch piece of plywood, and then I think I upgraded to, I want to say this is about an inch. So it's probably almost 2.5 inches or so of plywood that I ended up putting down here on all 4 corners of all of the 4 bases. And that gave me about, 2 inches or so of clearance. And so that's what we're looking at now at the top of the 370Z is about 2 inches, 2-3 inches of clearance. And that allowed me, with using these plates, to be able to have this set at really whatever level I want, without being stuck with the standard sizings for the increments at which you can go up. So that was a nice hack. Other than that, I think the project turned out beautifully. Both cars look amazing and fit on the lift with no problem. It is kind of a pain with how these are designed, with just how little room there is in between the rails. So you can see this tire is just practically right here, and there might be half an inch on the other side. If you've got a more narrow car, probably not as big of a deal. But let's go ahead and run the door just so you can kind of see how close it came. So we'll go ahead and press this button, and then we'll be able to see the door come up here. And then I got it programmed to essentially stop, just a little above the windshield of the GTR. And obviously, to get this down, you do need to raise it up about half an inch to an inch or so to clear the stoppers off the latch. So that's why I've left this room, which probably is hard to tell what it is on camera, but I'd say it's about 3 inches. It's about 3 inches of clearance. So yeah, that's the project. Saved tons of money, and this has been going strong for about 2-3 months now. So I would highly recommend it to anyone trying to save a few bucks and wanting to. I was quoted, I want to say almost $2,200 for them to install the high lift conversion kit, as well as the new side mount motor. So I think it was a worthwhile saving. Hopefully somebody else finds this helpful if you're trying to do it in your own garage. And then lastly, if anyone has questions as to how to program the stopping limits on the garage door, shoot me a message in the comments, and I'm happy to help out as far as that goes. Most garage doors are similar. So we'll leave it at that, and hopefully one of you guys finds this helpful.